John Pfitsch already had a degree from the University of Texas and was completing a master's degree at Kansas University when he was drafted in 1942. He landed in the Army and was sent first to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, and then to Southern California before being shipped to Europe. By the time he arrived, the German Air Force had been all but eliminated.
So we really didn't have anybody that was, nothing coming from the air. We had this big Air Force. We were tearing the shit out of the place with bombs. And we were rat racing on the ground, and our battalion had these gun crews with these half tracks. They had each gun crew had a half track and another two half tracks. One of them had 50 caliber machine guns. The other one had 40 millimeter cannons that shot. You've seen them in movies on the battleship, shooting at airplanes. Boom, 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 like that. 1 second every second. That shot was an automatic gun. You pull in that trigger and hold it down, it just keep banging about 1 second apart. The shells going up. I was trying to hit airplanes, of course. Supposed to be airplanes. But they didn't say anything about being able to hit that building or something like that.
Right.
Could hit the building is good, better than, because the building didn't move like the airplane did.
Right.
That's what, and so there I took it that's what we did. We converted from going to, that we were trained to do was to shoot
anti-aircraft.
But what we did do was to run and protect convoys, mostly convoys. So we would get an infantry regiment and put them all on these half tracks and trucks and go down the highway, right down the highway. Once you go wherever we're going, we'd go out 15, 20 miles, branch off, everybody gets out, and we go out and we form a line. We had gone through we theoretically gone through the German lines, going around the curve and set up a defensive line inside their defensive line, and if they turned to run, then we trapped them right in there and go. We were really good, and that wasn't in the game plan at all. We worked in the desert. We just practiced shooting airplanes. We couldn't shoot them, so we didn't shoot them, but we just shot the sleeves. They towed sleeves, and you'd shoot them. The sleeve is just those are the things they have on airports now. What is it? Flies on a pole, so you can tell which way the wind is blowing.
Pfitsch was part of the invasion force that landed in Normandy on D-Day.
The whole experience that I had was, I had nothing. And I think that anybody that was in my position, that was a lot of people,
Right.
Well, but, I can tell you that on the invasion, we got on Utah Beach, and you've seen them, you've seen the pictures in the movies and all that, where the guys got shot. Omaha Beach was the one that really got, we were in reserve of the First Army. The First Army made the assault attack on both beaches. And the United States had two beaches. The British had a beach, and the Canadians had a beach. And all of those was coordinated together. And there were two groups in reserve, one in reserve. We happened to be there. That's why I'm alive. So we went in the water to get to the beach, and we were trained to do that. We trained in England to do that. Besides being with the Air Force, we were in the Air Force. We defended the Air Force, supposedly defended them against low-level bombing. There's where we just sat out there and waited. So they came over, our air base, and they dive bombed. The Germans dive bombed. They were the ones that I think that Army and Air Force. So that we were prepared to that. We really had our game plan was to learn how to knock down dive bombers.
Right.
So the planes would come down on whatever you were defending, and that they were, of course, they didn't. It was pretty simple, you know. You could, and we had, and those guns though that we were getting was developed by the United States just for that purpose. And then they put a battalion like that with every infantry division.
Pfitsch and his unit would move from Normandy across France and into Germany. He was also part of the Allied force that would eventually secure Dusseldorf. He recalled his wartime as something that was necessary and important, and Pfitsch said he had to overcome some language barriers during his time in Europe.
Well, God, you know, I mean, I went to fight in Germany, or France, or England. I was in England. Well, the first place I had England, so I didn't have any trouble with England at that time.
Right.
When we got to France, so the only thing I could say, somebody said, well, it's, you can just, if you want something to eat, we were on rations, emergency rations most of the time, and it'd keep you alive, but it's terrible food, you know, for spoiled American kids. And so it was, well, somebody said to me, I don't know what they, or I asked or something, what can you do, you know, about, and he said, well, this is all you have to do. This is what you have to do. You go to the French farmhouse, where the first time you're out in the country, you're going to be out there, and so you go to the farmhouse, knock on the door, and say to the woman, this is, avez-vous des œufs? And that's supposed to mean, do you have any eggs?
Hey, that works.
And you say, avez-vous des œufs? And you have a package of cigarettes in your hand. Okay? We were issued cigarettes in our emergency rations on every day. We got a package of cigarettes.
Wow.
Well, plenty of cigarettes. I never smoked a cigarette in my life, but I took them out and did it. Avez-vous des œufs? And I tried to talk to whoever the woman was. It worked. It was all the same. You give her cigarettes. See, well, they loved American cigarettes, and it cost a lot of grand. Well, you went running off someplace and came back with a bag of eggs, you know. I'll never forget that. Went out in the woods with some of my boys, and we cooked eggs in our helmets. Which took the steel. The steel helmet is an excellent frying pan.
Pfitsch would return to the U.S. after his honorable discharge in 1945. 3 years later, he was hired to coach basketball at Grinnell College, and 60 years after that, he remained a legendary presence on the campus, having influenced the lives of thousands of student athletes.